Flex like David Icke, flex like David Icke. I think I know the truth. I flex like David Icke. I think I'm David Icke. I flex like David Icke, and I think I know the truth. I think I know the truth. I flex like David Icke, man. I think I know the truth, man. These UFOs are real, and these documents are proof, man.
Aliens are here, man. The aliens are here, man. The reptilians are here, man. The Illuminati's listening.
Hitler never died. The Holocaust lied. 6 million Jews. Show me the proof. The moon landing's fake. They never went to space. Our president's a clone. He always gets replaced.
When he fuck up, the Jews are reptilians. Funding Israel to kill the Palestinians, man. When you wake up, I hope you know the truth, man. Cause David Icke was right. Cause David Icke was right. Flex like David Icke. I think I'm David Icke, man. I flex like David Icke. I think I'm David Icke, man. I know I'm David Icke. Cause I know the truth, and he knows the truth.
Back and you look at religious beliefs, etc. of the ancients and the accounts of the ancients, these entities, which got different names, some people call them a serpent race, some people call them demonic. In the Islamic culture, they call them jinns. All different names.
Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. Stay woke. X like David Icke. Stay woke. X like David Icke.
I think I'm David Icke. I think I'm David Icke.
I think I'm David Icke. I think I'm David Icke.
I think I'm David Icke. I think I'm David Icke.
I think I'm David Icke, man. I think I'm David Icke, man.
We're live.
Hello.
We're live.
Right. It's been a while.
Indeed.
How
Yeah.
you doing?
You know, did you guys hear what like the extra delay on going live was?
No.
Okay. So someone tried to access my YouTube account and they did it so many times that they flagged it as like suspicious activity. And I had to go through an entire account recovery to get it back. So that was pretty swell.
Nice.
Oh, yeah?
It's just like another added mystery. We could make some conspiracy theories about it if we really wanted.
Mm.
Oh, that reminds me. I forgot to add our video of the day. I did some graphics work because I was waiting around for this. So this is like usually a topic that I wouldn't even touch. I wouldn't even touch it because it's a shitty situation all the way around. But I have been contacted by more than one person who's like, have you seen this shit over here? And Aiden is at his peak cocaine psychosis, like just peak scumbag, the worst thing that you can possibly imagine. He has inserted himself into an active case, horrible circumstances all the way around that involves a fallen police officer. He is spouting conspiracy theories that are just to the point where like they're laughable, but this isn't a situation to laugh about. And shitting on the fallen officer's family and getting them so upset that they are trying to fight back unsuccessfully. It's probably one of the worst things. Oh, and he's selling T-shirts. To profit from this man's death. Like, holy fuck. It's bad.
That's wild. Yeah.
So it's not even like the airbrushed ones, like when somebody passes that you like all collectively wear to the funeral.
No.
It is much worse than that. Like,
I mean,
you know. Yeah.
Who would just think to do that? You know, kind of instinct is that?
I don't.
Piece of shit one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, yes, McNulty. He's selling t-shirts. So like we'll get into this story. He is really what he's doing is he's selling a ridiculous conspiracy theory that was kind of cooked up by the defense. This woman who's accused of getting drunk and unfortunately running over her police officer boyfriend and then leaving him in the snow to die. She's being charged with second degree murder. So obviously the Commonwealth is alleging that she did so with some sort of willingness. I don't really see it. We'll get into that later. But, either way, they're alleging that she, ran this guy over. He died. At first, the lawyer came out and said, whoa. There was no criminal intent here. And then all of a sudden in October of last year, they just started spinning this theory that no, the murderers are different people all together and we're going to prove it. And so at some point, Aiden suspiciously started picking up, just the defense's version of events and has been spinning it into even more wild conspiracies. He's blaming people that barely knew this man. He's blaming people who have been longtime family friends, two women who have been very close to the victim, John O'Keefe, as well as his family for a very long time. And he's blaming an 18-year-old boy, which is really great. He even tagged the kids' football league in his murder accusations, because, if this kid was thinking about a bright future, knock, who's there? It's Aiden Carney, and he hates teenagers. So he's going to fuck it up. Just absolutely unconscionable. And I think what they're doing, well, I know what Aiden is doing is really avoiding the forensic evidence that the state says that they have and attaching to these really shaky theories of murder. So I figured what we would do before we do anything else is the grisly task of perusing through the charging documents, so that everybody can get an idea about what the state is alleging. Because right now on social media, the geniuses on Reddit around the case, they're going to solve this one like they solved the Boston Marathon bombing, I'm sure, or the missing West Boys case, right? The true crime community. I hope that they don't show up tonight.
Jesus Christ.
Idiots, all of you, right? The conspiracy theorists with your tin hats. So they're really, really pushing the defense's theory, and they're really overlooking a ton of what the prosecution is saying. So I will be linking this document in the description once we're done with this, because I'm not going to go through all 20 pages, word for word. That would take forever, and we wouldn't be able to get to the ridiculous conspiracy theories. But here we go. All right. So they're alleging that on January 29th, 2022, at approximately 6:04 a.m., the Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party, subsequently identified as the victim, John O'Keefe, found in the snow at this address. And it's up there. Obviously, it's in public record. I'm not going to make a big deal about the address because Aiden is also like showing up there at night and possibly implicating the new owners. I'm not exactly sure. He's implicating everybody. So I obviously, don't do your own amateur recreation. With all due respect, which is none, Aiden is a fucking moron who has expertise in nothing outside of how to get your wife to stay with you past 6 extramarital affairs and, probably where to score the best blow. Anything outside of that, I would not take his advice or expertise. So he had no business doing a recreation of this and being like, I solved the case. It's going to have absolutely no bearing on the case whatsoever. It proves nothing. He's an idiot. Don't do it, because I can guarantee if you're thinking about testing your own theory like he did, you're an idiot too. Leave these people alone, please. Thank you. Sorry. Sidetracked. At the time of the 911 call, there was an active blizzard occurring with heavy snow and the temperature in the teens. So these two officers, Seraph and Mulaney, were dispatched first. So Canton Police Department with the fire and EMS. Okay. So they observed 3 females waving at him from the front yard area of the residence. It was in the left corner of the property in an area where there was a flagpole and fire hydrant. Okay. So Officer Seraph, observed the victim lying on the ground. 2 females were performing CPR on him. The 3 females on the scene were identified as the defendant, Karen Reed, so that's who's accused, Jennifer McCabe, and Carrie Roberts. The officer further observed the victim to be cold to the touch and not breathing. It's horrible. He returned to his cruiser and to retrieve his AED device, and then fire and EMS arrived on scene. Okay. So he was taken to the Good Samaritan Medical Center in Brockton, and hours later, they unfortunately declared him dead. So there's that. This is it's grisly, it's terrible, and it's so fresh for the family, and they've been through so much. And the circus that it's created has been through, they've just been through so much. And it's unfortunate, just to veer off of that, another thing that Aiden did recently, and this is what really was like, fuck this, I'm going live about it. Like, he's going to go back to attacking me and my 16-year-old daughter. Maybe he'll involve my 14-year-old son this time. I don't know. He's going to use his amplified audience to probably shit on me further to try to discredit me. I don't care anymore. I would actually prefer that he shit on me and my family than the family of a recently deceased police officer, if I'm being completely honest, because we have already dealt with it. We're pretty immune. These people are grieving. He doesn't care. All right. So then we have Lieutenant Paul Gallagher, Sergeant Michael Lank, and Sergeant Sean Good, also the Canton police that arrived on scene. They searched for evidence and located a broken cocktail style glass and multiple patches of red that appeared to be blood in the vicinity of where the body had been located. Okay, so they find a smashed cocktail glass, and that's going to be important later. So they secured the glass and the blood samples from the snow. All right. Late in the morning, the Massachusetts State Police detective of the unit of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office was notified and responded to the scene. All right. So Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri, I will butcher that last name. We know how I am with. Go ahead. Buchanek?
I tried. Buchanek.
We'll say that. Sorry if that's incorrect. Were among the troopers who responded to the scene and began to interview witnesses. So right here is a theory that Aiden has been pushing really hard, and I don't know where it's coming from, because according to the charging documents, they were called on scene because the district attorney's office was notified. So he's saying that Trooper Michael Proctor, who, as we'll get into later, he has literally personified as like a antagonist in the movie Departed, just the devil incarnate, the most corrupt, state trooper that ever did live. Even more corrupt than, the previous state trooper that he shit on. You'll remember her, Leah Jinjuso, the woman that he banged behind his wife's back and then shared all her nudes on a Twitter account that's a parody. Right. Yeah. That was the last state trooper that was the worst state trooper ever. Well, I just want to establish here the way that this man moves. Because if you're an idiot from Reddit or wherever you came from, that's like, oh my God, everything that he says is gospel. He is a well-documented liar and scumbag. And Karen Reed looks a lot like his ex-girlfriends. Just saying, there's a little bit of a conflict right there. He has a very tenuous relationship with the truth, and that starts in his home and branches out. Like, obviously he's less vested in telling the truth to a bunch of strangers than he is his own family, but he'll lie to everybody. Just so that we're clear, this is the kind of man that is attacking all these residents of Canton, Massachusetts, that by all accounts were relatively upstanding and remain relatively upstanding members of their communities, with no evidence really to support otherwise, just a little bit of gossip, right? This is the kind of guy that's accusing them. I just want to be clear on that. Trooper Michael Proctor, a trooper in the Massachusetts State Police, again, a respected member of his community. Like, this is who is accusing you of being corrupt. So we're clear. All right. All right. So they spoke with Miss McCabe first. Now, Jennifer McCabe is the sister-in-law of the homeowner of the residence where the victim was found deceased outside of. Okay. She is a longtime family friend of the O'Keefe family and John himself, and would really have, at face value, absolutely no reason to frame anyone for a murder. This is her friend. Her allegiance here is to him, just so we're clear. All right. Both witnesses, actually. So she indicated that she and some friends were at the Waterfall Bar and Grill on the evening of the 28th. She arrived with her husband at 9:00, and then at 11:00, the victim and the defendant showed up. All right. She says they've been in a dating relationship for approximately 2 years, and then she stayed there. All right. So Jennifer McCabe observed Miss Reed walking into the bar holding a glass cup from the last bar that they were at. And that's something. Do you remember what Aiden said when he contested this fact?
Oh, no, not off the top of my head.
It was the best defense I've ever heard to anything. Like attorney should really take note here. He said she would never do that. That's something that a white trash drunk would do, and she's actually a really classy and
she's a very classy lady. Alcoholic. It is
right. She's a classy lady. Well, we'll see later in the report though. But they have this woman on camera bringing the drink in.
So the white trash defense.
I guess you called her white trash, Aiden. Imagine that. That's awkward. Don't say that at the pillow. Okay. Right. I'm being catty. This is fucked up. I'm sorry. This is fucked up. Fuck this guy. It's a tragic situation anyway. It really is. It's awful for everybody involved, especially his family and friends.
Well, right. I have a question. Like, typically, if a police officer on or off duty gets killed, the state police in New York will take over for the investigation, so it's not like the same people
right
around doing the investigation, just so there's transparency. Is it the same way in Mass?
Yeah, that's why the district attorney sent out their state police, and that's who took over.
Right. Oh, right. I mean, makes too much sense.
Right. Immediately. Right. And there's nothing in this report to indicate that this trooper was called off duty. He was called in because the district's attorney sent him in, among other officers. Right. So there's that. I don't know where that's coming from. It's a very, very bizarre statement to make. I think it's really just grasping at straws. And again, we're not in a courtroom here. This motherfucker can say whatever he wants. And what are you going to do? People clearly are not bothering to read the charging documents. I've got people in the chat right now. The investigation was horrible. I don't know, dude. Just the charging document. Have you ever seen charging documents? Okay. I've pulled a few on this channel in my time. Right. Usually a statement of fact is like 1 or 2 pages. This is 20. Okay. They had the, collision reconstructed lab in there. The crime lab was involved. The hospital staff, the forensic crime lab was involved with this. Multiple agencies. It was a pretty thorough investigation. I mean, could they have missed something? Maybe. I'm looking at this case really from the perspective of Occam's razor. Okay. Sometimes the simplest answer is just the answer. And it's not as sexy as a giant murder conspiracy. And I think
make you as much money.
People are really, really conflating here. This really absolutist sort of thought process, right? If Karen Reed isn't factually innocent 100% and the angel sent from God above to bring us to salvation, then the police aren't corrupt. The 2 things can exist at once. The police can still be corrupt in some cases, just not in this one. And that is probably what's going on. But go ahead. Tell me more about the investigation. I'm sure that you were there. I'm sure that Aiden was there. They called him and he was the second person on scene. I'm sure. Why would you not call him in? Great. All right. She said that the defendant and the victim appeared to be in a good mood and didn't observe any arguing between the 2 of them. All right. And the atmosphere within the bar was friendly with no arguments amongst any of the patrons. And this description of the group and the atmosphere within the bar between the defendant and victim was consistent with each of the witnesses present that the troopers interviewed through the course of their investigation. So everybody agrees that at the bar, nobody was fighting. There were no issues. Okay. Right. Nobody was fighting. That means that Karen Reed was not fighting with John O'Keefe. Brian Albert, which was another person there we'll get to, was not fighting. Chris Albert was not fighting with him. Jennifer McCabe. Nobody was fighting. Okay. So remember this as we go on to the conspiracy theories, because the main thing you're going to hear from the defense and crackpots like Aiden is that, the people that were at this bar, some of them anyway, went back to the house and beat them up. Why?
Well, we'll get into
that. Yeah.
Right.
Got a lot to unpack, folks.
Yeah, we do. We really do. There's a lot here. All right.
It's insane.
So as the bar began to close down, everyone within their group was invited back to the house. And that's the residence of the witness, Jennifer McCabe's sister and her husband Brian. Okay, so the cop is Brian Albert. He is a police officer as well, and that is her brother-in-law. All right. So she saw Mr. O'Keefe and Miss Reed leave the waterfall together. All right. So her story is, I'm just paraphrasing again, like you can read this at your leisure if you really want. But she, receives text messages from the victim asking where to go. He calls her to get more specific instructions on where to go. She sees them pull up and they sit there for a little bit. So she texts him and says hello. And then a few minutes later says, pull up behind me, telling her where to park. Then she observes the car move and stop on the street near the driveway, then go to the left side of the property, which is where the body was found, unfortunately. And a few minutes after that, at 12:45 a.m., she texts him again, hello, and then watches the car drive off. So at 4:53 a.m., Miss McCabe receives a phone call from the defendant looking for the victim. And she sounds distraught on the phone. And she ends up driving over to Jennifer McCabe's house. So this is another important thing too, because they're gonna accuse this woman a lot of covering up this murder, and claim that she was, pacing back and forth and waiting for her to call. But it's Karen Reed that called her. She's the one who made her aware of this, not the other way around. Not like she was calling the defendant every 5 minutes, going like, "Hey, do you know where your boyfriend is?" Like that's not what she was doing. But she answers this call, which again, just to be clear too, as it's later come out, the call didn't actually come directly from the defendant. It came from the victim's niece because she's the one who had the phone number, not the defendant. So she answered it, not even necessarily knowing that it was the defendant. She thought it was, the victim's niece who, they've been family friends for a long time. So there's that. So she goes in, she drives over to Miss McCabe's home, and she tells her, the defendant tells Miss McCabe that she and the victim had gotten into an argument, and the last time that she had seen him was at the waterfall bar and grill. So at that point, she is corrected and said, no, you drove him to the house. All right. So another friend, Carrie Roberts, who is another, again, longtime family friend of the O'Keefes. So, she's has no ill will towards the victim, certainly cares about him. This is a huge loss for them, arguably more than the defendant because they've known him longer, but so Carrie Roberts shows up because she'd also received calls from the defendant, and they go there. And so the Miss McCabe drives the defendant's vehicle back to the victim's house where she had staying. She was too hysterical, and they all get in the car together and they go back to look for him. So in the car, the defendant states, "Could I have hit him? Did I hit him?" At this point, they haven't even found a body yet.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
already saying that.
Yeah. I mean, like, is she psychic, perhaps?
Well, she's not as white trash.
Well, I don't know, because Aiden said that if only white trash people take one drink from another, and like she's on camera, she did. So I think maybe he did call her white trash. I'm not going to call her white trash. I'm not going to do that. I don't know her.
I'm in no situation to call anybody white trash, but
I was going to say, and as white trash, I can say the one thing that we like to do is, take our public defenders and take accountability for our actions. That's what us white trash people do, generally speaking. Right. So they go over and they look, and she's already saying, did I hit him? Even though, she doesn't even technically, hypothetically know that he's dead, right? Because they haven't found a body, but she says that. Then Miss McCabe states that the defendant also told her that she had a cracked light on her vehicle. So once they arrive back at the house to drop off the car, the witness, Miss McCabe, looks at the cracked taillight and sees that. So then they get into Carrie Roberts' car and they go look for the victim. All right. So it was snowing really hard. Yeah. All right. So as they get up to the house, this is another weird one too, and this is corroborated by both witnesses. And just for the record, I absolutely know as a fact that prior to this whole thing, Carrie Roberts and Jennifer McCabe didn't really know each other. So there's that. There's not a lot of collusion there. All right. So they're driving up to the house because what happens here is Karen Reed, the defendant, tells them to go back to where, to Fairview to look for him, which again is a little odd, but whatever. So they're driving up. It's whiteout conditions at this point. It's in the middle of a nor'easter that dumped like 21 inches of snow in the area. So it's whiteout conditions, really shouldn't be on the road anyway. And as they're approaching the house, all of a sudden, Karen Reed screams, "Oh my God, there he is. I see him. I see him. There he is." Right. And both of the witnesses are confused because they can't see him because, it's been snowing at this point. I believe there's about 6 inches of snow on the ground. Right. Yeah. So he's covered in snow and it's whiteout conditions. And like this lady with eagle eye vision
from a moving vehicle.
Right.
Could see through 6 inches of snow.
Right. And whiteout conditions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. All right.
Yeah.
So they find it. She goes right to the body. All right. Okay. And then she lays on top of him for warmth and begins CPR. All right. So this is another thing that's going to come into play later. But according to Miss McCabe, the defendant yells to her twice to Google, "How long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia?" Okay. So we do know that Google search happened. She states it. It's in her phone. It's contested a little bit, and we'll get to that. All right. So they also interview her husband. Doesn't really know. The defendant has known Mr. O'Keefe for 8 years. All right. And so he pretty much says the same thing as his wife. All right. And then we go on to the homeowners who unfortunately are being accused of murder, like directly at this point, with very little evidence, but all right. So troopers interview the homeowners. They confirm that they were at the waterfall bar. They state that they didn't know the victim or the defendant very well, which, has been pretty well corroborated from what I've heard anyway. All right. So they weren't aware that they were planning on coming over. They wouldn't have had an issue if they were aware. They didn't hear or see anything outside of their home. Then they interview another witness. So they had sort of like a party. I guess it was sort of in phases. It sounds like some of the kids were celebrating one of the kids' birthday parties. So they were hanging out. The parents go out. They come back. They're all hanging out. So people were in and out of the house a little bit. So this guy, his sister was at the house and she calls him for a ride and he goes over there. So this is what he says. He says that he had his friend drive. He was in the front passenger seat and his girlfriend was in the rear cab of a Ford F-150 pickup truck. So they drive over there. As they were driving down the road, he saw a set of headlights come at him, a mid-sized black SUV like the one that Karen Reed drives, from the opposite direction. And the truck that he was traveling in yielded to her. Okay. So she made a right-hand turn onto the street where the home is. And then they followed them straight to the house after that. So she comes in first and then the truck comes in. He says that the truck stopped directly in front of the driveway of the home and the black SUV stopped around the right-hand curb towards the left side of the property. He remained within the truck while his sister exited the home. And then he asked him to come inside. He didn't want to. So when he leaves, he sees the black SUV pull up 1.5 car lengths to the far left edge of the home's property where the flagpole is. He stated that the SUV's driver did not appear to place the vehicle in park at any point, as he observed it as the rear brake lights were illuminated through his observation to include the third top center light. So it sounds like they're intact at this point. All right. He didn't hear any noises coming from within the SUV. He said that as they pulled away, they drove past the black SUV and observed the light on and a Caucasian female operator inside the vehicle. So we have several people here placing her car where the body was found, just so that we're all on the same page here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the be all end all. I'm not saying like case closed, but like, you know, to add to the pile of things that seem to be uncontested and, you know, certainly incriminating, like everybody kind of saw her over where unfortunately the body was later found. Okay. So later that day, some other troopers interview Miss Carrie Roberts, who's the other woman that was with Miss Reed as they were looking for the body. She is a friend of the victims for a long time. And I suppose a friend of the defendant as well. All right. So she gets a call from the defendant at 5 o'clock in the morning, stating that the victim didn't come home, that it was snowing, and she was worried. So according to this witness, the defendant further stated to her, "John's dead, Carrie. Carrie, I wonder if he's dead. It's snowing. He got hit by a plow." So yet again, this lady must be psychic, because she's told yet another witness that she thinks that he's been struck by a vehicle and killed, and nobody has even found this body.
And to tell her friend to Google how long you can be outside before you die from hypothermia.
Right.
Yelling that.
Right.
To Google it.
Right. Seems guilty to me. Yeah. All right. She states that Miss Roberts states she believes the defendant was still intoxicated, you know, from the night before in the morning, and had told her that she did not remember the night before. Right. The witness reports the defendant as stating, "I was so drunk, I don't even remember going to your sister's last night," referring to Miss McCabe's sister, who is the homeowner of where the body was found. She followed the defendant's black Lexus SUV back to the victim's home. When they brought the car back, they went inside the home for a period of time to look for him. They couldn't find him. I believe, you know, they went down to see if maybe he was in the basement. They realized that the basement was locked. He wouldn't have locked themselves in there. They searched the house. He definitely wasn't there. Then Miss Roberts drove her vehicle with Miss McCabe in the front passenger seat and the defendant in the rear passenger side to the home where he was dropped off. And they were scanning the side of the roadway along the drive, looking for the victim, while the defendant periodically screamed and texted on her phone. She described the weather as whiteout conditions, just like the other witness had. As they arrived in the area of the home, Miss Roberts stated that the defendant screamed, "There he is. I see you," from inside the vehicle, and screamed to be let out. And again, this is in whiteout conditions with at least 6 inches of snow on the ground in a moving vehicle from the backseat. Doesn't look good. This will run its course in court. You know what I mean? But like, I mean, all these people are buying into these conspiracy theories. That does not look good. Just be real about it. You know, employ common sense. That's all you have to do here. Employ common sense. This is what, and I've been talking to a lot of people that believe in the conspiracy theories, especially on Discord, because it's been spreading around like wildfire. You know, think about, would you convict the people that the defense and Turtleboy are trying to blame for murder based on the evidence that you are aware of right now? Now, understand that we don't have all the evidence because this has not yet gone to trial, but that means you don't have all of the Commonwealth's evidence either. So just put on the table what is available to you at this moment. Would you convict the people that are being blamed in this alternate theory on the evidence being presented to support it, versus all the evidence that is being presented against the person who's currently on trial? Just think about that. Don't have to answer me today. Just think about it, though, really, honestly, because these are people's lives that are being affected. This is an 18-year-old boy with his whole future ahead of him being affected right now. This is the grieving family of a fallen police officer being affected right now. These are 2 children that have lost 3 parents in 10 years being affected right now because of the internet's willingness to speculate and follow around this coked up jerk off goblin of a Pied fucking Piper. Think about what you are doing and the impact that it has, because it's awful. All right. Would you convict these people? Or at this point, is there more evidence against the actual defendant? Think about it. All right. She saw him in whiteout conditions with 6 inches of snow on the ground from a moving vehicle, the wee hours of the morning, dawn, right? In the back seat. Think about that. Right.
The conspiracy theories just keep on rolling in. Like, somebody is speculating that everybody stayed quiet, and the cover-up included the cops, the ER workers, and medical examiners. Like, what would the payoff be? What would the payoff be for all these people to conspire? For what?
Well, the amount of people alone is crazy.
Law enforcement certification on the line, to put their medical license on the line. For what? So you're gonna, fuck off a whole 12-year college education to become a doctor? For what?
Right. To throw it away.
Exactly what?
To throw it away, right? Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Just like, fuck this. Ain't gonna need this. Yeah. Like, there's certain things why people will lie. If there's money, if it's sex involved. Like, I mean, I don't understand where these people, the genesis of this fucking bullshit is. And not for nothing, that it's unnatural for a kid to die before their parent.
Right.
And you're talking about the most painful experience for anybody who is a parent. Just think about that. It's unnatural. And like, you're going to sit and you're going to take these people who are grieving over something tragic and like, oh, well, fuck them. I'm going to make some fucking t-shirts. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'll tell you this right now. I'm kind of a piece of shit. And if I'm telling you this, like, if I am the moral voice of reason here, like, we're in trouble.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, obviously, we're going to be murdering, or like, what is it? Child abusing, prostituting, drug addicted, murdering, supporting.
Please
like
add that.
I mean, this man just levels accusations at everybody, and like, whatever. To a certain extent, you get a little hysterical about it, realize that he's a fucking little puke. Who cares, right? But like. This is a new low. It really is. And, look at this objectively. I still see people and go, somebody just chatted and asked if I was being paid by the Alberts. No. What?
They believe the Alberts are some kind of like, I don't know, criminal family. They have like massive power. They run
all this. Like, I'm telling you. Like,
they run the fire department. They run the medical examiner. They run everybody, apparently.
They run the fucking state. Kennedy? No.
Yeah.
That's
Kennedy
who? Yeah, Kennedy who? That's the real people in Massachusetts running the show are the Alberts from Canton, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
right.
And you want to know?
Do you know that one of them owns a pizza parlor and is a selectman? Can you imagine any more influence and power?
JFK Airport? Nope, not no more.
Right. Albert Airport, right?
Albert Airport,
right?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I can't. Like, it's so stupid. I want to just ram my head into the fucking wall.
So again, even after exiting the vehicle, this witness, Miss Roberts, states that she still couldn't see the victim in the conditions and that his body was covered in snow. It was about 12 feet away from the roadway. We're only on page 8. This is pretty thorough. All right. He had a swollen right eye with a laceration above it and blood around his nose and mouth. So this is something that's also going to be called into question with the defense. And unfortunately, one of the worst things that Aiden is doing, in my opinion, is he is blasting the autopsy photos everywhere so that,
that's rough.
All these strangers are consuming media of this man deceased, despite his family's continued objections. Unfortunately, with all the busy work that the defense has been doing, it slipped their mind to ask that this stuff gets impounded. Imagine that. And it got out, so it's since been impounded, but that's not going to stop Aiden from continuing to post. And he was in court, so he heard the court say that it should have been impounded by statute. He's aware of that. He's aware that the DA even brought it up because because of the needs and desires of the family. He doesn't care. He doesn't. He's been told by the family at this point on more than one occasion that they would appreciate that he not post the autopsy photos. He's even gone so far as to now write a blog where he shows screenshots of one of the victim's family members asking that he not show the autopsy photos, and then 2 lines or maybe a paragraph below that shows the autopsy photos again. So you're a really good person. Sure got the moral superiority up on us. You're a great guy.
I'm really trying to like keep it at least as respectful as I can.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, some people have never, how do I word this? Without, I don't want to disrespect the family. You know what I mean? Some people have never gotten tuned up and it shows.
Right. All right. So this is more witnesses that they interviewed that just stated they were at the bar. They know the victim for 5 to 6 years. They don't really know the defendant. Again, like these are all his friends. They're not her friends. These are people that definitely didn't have any reason to, betray the memory of their friend. They've known him for a long time. Right. And they're all consistent. So they just say that they were there. The only thing they really add to this is they say that I guess Chris Albert, another one of those Albert families, was there, and he's the owner of a local pizza shop. And the defendant was pushing quite a bit for him to go make pizzas for everybody and keep the party going. Obviously, that didn't happen. Right. Yeah. She's fucking housed. Like, they're going to get to how much she drank. She drank 9 drinks within the course of like 2.5, 3 hours. Yeah. All right.
That's like blackout.
I think 6 were within 1 hour.
Right. Now, this witness does also add that she thought the defendant was fine and did not believe that she was overly intoxicated. So that was her take on it. All right. Yeah, real good cover up there. They added a statement that could be exculpatory. They're really nailing the coffin, right? Like fucking hell. All right. So this is the Canton firefighter Katie McLaughlin, because the Canton Fire Department is also involved in this conspiracy, obviously. To frame this woman. So she was dispatched. She observed the victim to have trauma to his face and eye area with vomit in his mouth. He was dressed in jeans, socks, and 1 black Nike sneaker, almost like he lost a shoe out there. Weird. All right. The shirts were cut and I'm not going to go through all that stuff. So it's just too gory. All right. So the defendant spoke to Miss McLaughlin, who is the EMS, and said, gave him the name and date of birth. The defendant was asked by Miss McLaughlin if she knew where the victim had suffered the trauma to his face, eye, and the defendant turned to her friend and stated repeatedly, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him."
Yeah. So for Aiden's theory to stand, that lady's statement, she's in on it as well.
She's in on the conspiracy now. Yeah.
She's part of the conspiracy. Yeah.
She is a part of the conspiracy. Yeah.
Multiple state agencies, and we've yet to get to another. There's another one left.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few, I think, left, honestly. There's a few. You know what? I'm just gonna go back to this so we can see it better. All right. So yeah, she's admitted it. Right. Okay. So they take him over to Good Samaritan Hospital. There's 6 bloody lacerations varying in length on his right arm. They extend from his forearm to his biceps, so they're pretty big. Bigger than a dog bite. Both of the victim's eyes were swollen shut and black and blue in color. I don't know if anyone knows this too. I'm going to let you know. It took me a 30-second Google search to figure out, because they're, of course, claiming that he looks like he went several rounds with a boxer. There's a much simpler explanation. If you spend 30 seconds, you can see for yourself. It didn't take that long. It's called raccoon eyes. I don't know the clinical term because I'm not a doctor. Right? Right? Wait, and I don't even play. I'm not. Now, what I do with us in our spare time is not medical, even though I might say it is sometimes. Okay. All right. I'm not a doctor.
Right. Wait, there's an EMT from the looks of it in here. Skull fracture.
Right. Yeah. Right. Thank you. From a skull fracture. Right. Like,
yeah. So, see, look. got a whole bunch of medical people. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm impressed. I didn't finish college. Moving on.
Right. I'm glad that so many people know what this is, though. So that's what I mean. Like, this is, I mean, this seems almost disingenuous, this whole thing about the looking like he got beat up or whatever, because I feel like anyone who has a little bit of knowledge or Google working understands that the guy had some skull fractures in the back of his head. Now, I also looked up, just so we're clear, like the skull fractures alone, first of all, like hypothermia contributed to this man's untimely and horrible death, right? So he didn't die right away, and I don't mean to be so cavalier about it,
it's
but
brutal.
He didn't, which is awful to think about, and we don't need to dwell on that. But you can walk around with skull fractures. One thing that I was reading a lot about is that cheerleaders often will find, like, it's the Flyers will bump the back of their heads. They get some skull fractures. They'll get the raccoon eyes. They're still up and walking around. Okay, so you can absolutely, it's not like I think people have this vision in their heads of getting hit at 60 miles an hour and you just get absolutely eviscerated and killed instantly. That's not what they're alleging happened here. That's not what is supported about happening here. There's no evidence that he was beat up. In fact, both the medical examiner and the staff at Good Samaritan Hospital examined this man and did not see any signs of any sort of physical altercation or fight. So if you're keeping track at home, everyone who was at this party, all of the witnesses, and so far we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 witnesses, all of the EMS staff that day, right? All the state troopers that we have counted 4 state troopers already, and the Canton police and the Canton police supervisors are now all involved in this conspiracy, right? Which is, I mean, we're arguably up to what? We 25 people at this point, 30 people that kept their mouths shut. So far. We haven't gotten all the way through, right? But, medical examiner and the hospital saw absolutely no evidence of, and they can tell the difference between inflicted and non-inflicted injuries. Like that's
right.
Science.
So all those people with that collective medical experience that are licensed don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Right. Some fucking jackals from the bowels of Massachusetts clearly know better.
Right.
The fuck? I'm trying real hard to keep it. Yeah. Do good.
Right. So the doctor comes in. It's gory. He does say that the extensive injuries to his head likely incapacitated him. So now they go to Dayton, Massachusetts, where the defendant is, to interview her. Now, this is another thing that, again, doesn't look great. So she's told people that have put it on the record in their names in a police report that she believed that he was hit and killed by a vehicle before they even found the body. She says in the presence of EMS that she hit him. Now what she is doing is she has taken her vehicle, the vehicle with the broken taillight, if we remember, and she has driven it 40 minutes over to Dayton, right? Maybe 30, but in a blizzard, in a snowstorm, to her parents' house. And they're going to need to get a warrant to get that car, just so that, they ended up having to get a warrant for the car. So she didn't give the car up. So she took the car way out of the way to her parents' house. And the police had to come get a warrant for it. She didn't give it up willingly. Now, all of these witnesses, they gave up things like cell phones. They signed off willingly, just so that we're keeping score with what's going on here. So, I mean, I think that somebody is acting a little bit suspiciously in this, but I don't know that it's Jennifer McCabe or Carrie Roberts or any of the state troopers, because they're all giving their information willingly. Karen Reed, not so much. What?
Just the stupidity just keeps on rolling in, and I'm behaving myself. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf.
I like this NV cap Uranus, because they're just
nailed it. That's the one I was like,
laughing at you.
Right.
You start listen.
Got it.
Email us at info@massholereport.com. I would like to hand make you a tinfoil hat, and you can just wear it around.
State, fucking
it'll be adorable. It'll be absolutely adorable. Right? Like, this is what it is. This is a massive conspiracy that circles around this one white middle class lady. Yep.
Yeah.
I think so. All right. So they get to the house at 4:30, the parents' house, 30 to 45 minutes away. They see her car there with the registration and everything. They observe that the passenger side taillight has been shattered and a large piece of plastic is missing from it. They invite in the house. They talk to her. She said that she had been there with friends at the bar. I'm sorry. No. Hold on. Let me go back. I think he was there. Yeah. So she showed up at the first bar, CF McCarthy's, at 9:00 at night. The victim had been there with his friends prior, and she showed up around 9. She says that she was drinking vodka sodas out of a vase style. You're going to see later on that they observe her drinking a lot of clear liquid, so we know what it is. It's vodka. The victim was drinking beers. It was vase style. She said that they left that bar. They went to the waterfall, and she denies that she had taken any drink from one bar to the next, except they have her on camera. Whoops, we'll get to that. All right, she stayed there at the waterfall for an hour. And within that hour, she had, I believe, 6 drinks. So it was a lot. Yeah. It was a lot.
We don't know what she had at the bar prior. So if people are talking about, like, say, the number of drinks and the time frame, whatever,
we have no idea what she was doing before. Maybe she wasn't at a bar prior. Maybe she came from home straight. Maybe she was out with her friends drinking more. Maybe she was pre-gaming at home. I don't know. Maybe she came there stone cold sober.
But with the drink in hand into this bar within an hour, she's seen purchasing 6 and pouring it into her glass. Did you say?
Yeah. We'll get to that too. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So they see it. They see that the bumper is broken. They seize it from the driveway and they transport it to the Canton Police Department, and then the Massachusetts State Police Crime Scene Services. A crime lab chemist and another trooper, Joseph Paul, from Collision Analysis and Reconstruction, respond to it. Okay, so here's more people. We got the crime lab chemist, another trooper from the Collision Analysis and Reconstruction section. All right, they've shown up too. All right, so they see the fragments of the broken glass on the rear bumper of the vehicle. If you remember, they found a smashed cocktail glass next to his body. So they find that. They find pieces missing. They find a deep scratch and a minor dent on the vehicle. They saw more scratches and some paint chipped off. And they test the vehicle to make sure there's no deficiencies in the forward and reverse. There's not. They don't find any problems with the braking system. They put a training figure resembling a human, approximately 6 feet, like the victim, behind the car. The car's trooper, so another trooper is involved in this now, did this test, and it was documented with video. It was placed in reverse and started to travel towards the figure. The rear view camera within the vehicle was operating properly. It displayed a screen in the center of the dashboard, 360 visual. Both auditory and visual cues within the vehicle sounded off, indicating an obstruction to the rear. I think that this is why they upgraded the charges, because originally she was charged with manslaughter, leaving the scene of an accident, and I believe drunk driving. They upgraded that manslaughter to murder in the second degree. And I'm just guessing here. And again, not a lawyer, not a cop, not a particularly intelligent or good person. But my guess, from what I understand, is that this would probably be where the district attorney is trying to claim that there was some intent. I don't know that you could prove that to me if I was sitting on the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. What do you think?
No. Absolutely not.
Right, because we know at this point she's had quite a bit to drink.
Understatement.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
She had quite a bit to drink. She stated to witnesses that they got into an argument in the parking lot. The state police do later pull up some voicemails that she left for the boyfriend around the time that she would have potentially hit him, where she's screaming that she hates him. It sounds like she was pretty drunk and emotional. Which, listen, no judgment on that part of it. We've all been there. If you haven't been there, you're fucking boring, right? Like,
almost exclusively.
The one thing that I am getting from like the sort of picture of this woman that I'm getting from talking to people and reading things and hearing some things about maybe some past is that if she's guilty of one thing, it's never mind.
Yeah, thank you. Kate, just go ahead. We're not even, we're on our best behavior tonight, even though there's
I
a lot of
can
things we could say.
empathize with the fact that she's probably a bit unstable.
Yeah, we hope she finds Jesus.
Not even Jesus, just something that some of us never find. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a little. I mean, I'm saying like it sounds like she was drunk and emotional. So I don't know if you're drunk and emotional, and you know how you get mad, you peel rubber a little bit, leaving. Fuck you.
When there's a man involved, yes.
Those visual and audio cues come up kind of quick, as far as reaction time goes. If you're drunk, you don't have very fast reaction time. I don't know that would have prevented the accident. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean there was an intent, but I'm guessing this is probably where they're finding the intent. And maybe that, she's made some statements ahead of finding him in the snow that would indicate that she had an inkling that he was perhaps deceased in the snow. Right.
Right.
So and then saying I hit him 3 times.
My is that she probably was more worried about getting a DUI,
right,
than if he was alive.
Right.
So she was worried about saving her own ass before him. And I mean, that's just getting down to, brass tacks.
And I feel like if you're in that heightened state, especially couched with the alcohol, that, maybe at first you wouldn't, I don't think your first thought would be that I hit another human being. You know what I mean? As you calm down, or even before you calm down,
sober up, like, goddamn,
that's what I should say.
Fucking drinks.
Right. As you sober up and maybe try to keep the argument going and realizing he's not responding, maybe at that point you start to put 2 and 2 together. And it sounds like at some point she panicked and, wanted to cover her tracks. Like, because what are you going to do at that point, I guess? Yeah.
If somebody possibly were to drive the car or the vehicle up a little bit, a few feet, whatever, throw it into reverse and hear the warning signs going off and the visual cues going off, you don't think they would know that they possibly hit somebody? They'd be so drunk, maybe they thought they had like a trash can or something until later it dawned on them.
I think it's possible. And I think that that possibility, I don't even know whether or not I would call it a probability, but definitely a possibility. That possibility would definitely make me remiss to want to convict this woman for murder that has intent behind it. I think that, I'll get into that, but I think that anyway, as far as just looking at the incident, the accident, whatever you want to call it, I would be hard sold on the idea that there was some sort of intent.
Right. I mean, either way, it's terrible and it's tragic, and the man,
right? And not only that, it's like there's so much collateral damage, like between her family, his family, already. Like, everybody having to process this. Like, do we know if they have children?
Oh,
like,
right, yeah,
Karen and the decedent. Like, I mean, there's so much collateral damage that he's not thinking about. Like, it's just a fucking money grab.
Yeah, and the children thing, children together, no, they don't.
The backup camera would be beeping like crazy, but I mean, let me tell you something. There's a lot of things I'm gonna miss if I have 9 drinks in me.
No, it beeps until it beeps until you make impact, and then there's nothing to warn you about anymore because you're done.
That's
it doesn't
right.
keep beeping.
Come on now.
Come on, because at that point, well, yeah, because again, like his watch being in the house, that's been introduced, but it hasn't been proven. We'll get to that. You just shut the fuck up. This is what I mean, you idiots. Yeah, I guarantee half of you haven't read these before, okay?
Your name's DP, like you're taking 2 dicks at once. Fuck off.
We're
same.
trying to
Sorry.
behave.
I'm
because this is a
trying to
sensitive
behave, but
topic.
you guys
Ugh.
get stupid and I have to get stupid, right?
You know what? Honestly, I announced on Discord the other day that when I was coming back, it's my motherfucking villain error, and I mean it. I have no tolerance. Before I'd be like, well, like let's be a little bit diplomatic. No, fuck you guys. Like honestly, I can't stand the amateur armchair sleuths from like Reddit and Twitter. You guys are all idiots. You should log off the internet immediately. Go touch some fucking grass. Like I am sorry that you couldn't make it past the 11th grade, right? But you're never gonna be a homicide detective. So sit down, Karen. Okay, like it's not gonna happen. This is retarded. You're retarded. I said it. The word I'm not supposed to use. I fucking said it. There is no other way to describe your smooth brains, right? Let it be you. These are the same people that solved the Boston Marathon bombing by, accusing a perfectly innocent young man that later was found out dead by an apparent suicide. You guys suck. Okay, you help nothing.
To answer the question,
you deserve Aiden. You deserve he does not think that you are good people.
Right.
He doesn't think you're smart. He doesn't have any respect for you. He wants your money and your adoration. And trust and believe, if you're communicating with him, little groupies, like he's just collating all of your personal information. He's keeping track of every message you send, every nugget of your life that you give him. And if you ever disagree with anything he does, you're next. You're next. You're going to be just like the Alberts. You're going to be just like the O'Keefe family. You're going to be just like me. You're going to be just like all of it, because he does not give a fuck. He is a narcissist of the highest order, right? And all he wants from you is to have pay piggies, right? Fuck off. I don't like you, and I don't want you here.
Can I answer a question really quick? Who is this fat chick talking? I can hear her fat. Well, it's a fat chick that wouldn't fuck you, and your daddy like it.
Yeah.
So.
Don't care. Like, yeah. All right. So, okay. They also found on the rear, and this is pretty damning that nobody's been talking about. All right. In addition, forensic scientist Maureen Harnett responded to the Canton Police Department that date as well, and observed and took samples from the Lexus. She noted damage to the rear of the vehicle on the passenger side, including a dent with chipped paint in the trunk door, a broken taillight, and scratches on the bumper. An apparent hair was noted on the rear passenger quarter panel. Apparent glass was also noted on the rear bumper. Okay. They tested this. They've confirmed it's human hair. The defense has dragged their feet because it will be exhaustive testing to test the DNA of this, right? All the defense had to do in between their 37-page schizo postings, defending this woman, is sign a form, get their own expert in to watch the testing and get this shit tested. I can think of nothing more exculpatory than if that hair isn't his. I would want to know personally, but apparently the defense doesn't, right? But they want animal control records from 2015. So that's more important. All right. And the apparent glass, again, the cocktail glass. And that's another person in the conspiracy. How many have we? What are we at? Like 32 now? 33?
Oh, dude. Yeah. Right. Multiple state agencies.
Okay.
Right.
So now, also on January 29th, the Massachusetts State Police Special Emergency Response Team, CERT. So I don't know how many people are in the CERT team, but we'll assume that it's a minimum of 4, maybe 3. We'll say 3, right? We'll say 2. We'll just assume they work in pairs. Even 2. Now we've got 2 more people. So now we're at 35 people that are part of this conspiracy. So that team was activated to assist in searching for possible evidence outside of the home. Members from the CERT team located a black Nike sneaker with a white Nike logo along the side. Remember, he was missing a shoe. Matching the one worn by the victim at the time his body was discovered. In the same area where the body had been recovered, 2 plastic pieces of a taillight were located, consistent to the pieces missing from the defendant's black Lexus. 1 piece of clear plastic taillight was located in the same area as well, also consistent with the broken taillight on the Lexus. And again, like this was found by yet another team, right? Because they had to dig through the snow. So yes, it was not found at first, but this is more people were on that team. Even if it was 2 people, that's 2 people that just shut the fuck up and didn't say anything, right? And that's minimum. Okay. On January 31st, they observed video from the Ring camera affixed to the residence of the victim. The video was observed utilizing the Ring application on the victim's cell phone. All right. So from 6 p.m. to January 28th through 6 a.m. on January 29th, there's 15 events between the 2 cameras of the residence. They observe on the Ring video from the driveway camera the defendant's SUV leaving the right garage door and traveling out of the driveway onto Meadows Avenue and turning left onto Pleasant Street at approximately 5:08 a.m. All right. They were not able to locate any Ring video of the same SUV arriving at the home prior to that. Right. The victim's SUV. So the victim's SUV was parked in the driveway, and the defendant's SUV exits in reverse from the garage, coming close to the victim's SUV. As the defendants exit the driveway, the troopers observe her right passenger side taillight to be broken. Now, the defense is stating that this is why the taillight was broken, is because she hit the victim's car. And if you watch the video, it comes very close. It's hard to tell. It's poor video. It's absolutely possible that is what happened. But now we have more people coming out. So Trooper Evan Brandt from Crime Scene Services arrived with Trooper Proctor at the home and documented all sides of the victim's car and the garage doors. There was no damage observed anywhere on either the vehicle or the doors. So, there is the theory that she hit the car, but the car doesn't have any damage. And later on, they clarify in a subsequent filing, the DA does, that they looked for broken pieces of taillight in the driveway and they didn't find that either. Right. So I would not feel comfortable in saying absolutely 100% that that's not how her taillight broke. But I certainly would not feel comfortable saying that how it is. And again, they find no broken taillight in the driveway, but they do at the crime scene. So I feel like it's more likely than not that was broken at the crime scene. There's nothing to suggest that it was broken in the driveway, but I don't know. It's close. All right. This is Trooper Bohenick and Keefe. So 2 completely different troopers, not Michael Proctor. They go to the bar. They speak with the manager. They get the surveillance footage. Okay. So they see the victim walk in, what he's wearing, he with a friend. All right. 8:51 is when Karen Reed comes in and they describe what she's wearing. 7 minutes later at 8:58, the bartender hands her a tall cylinder-style glass containing a clear liquid with a lime in it. Okay. At 9:15, she gets another one of those. All right. At the following times, she gets shot glasses with a clear liquid in it, which she pours into her own glass. 9:20, 9:33, 10:22, and 10:29. So I know that, again, Turtleboy has been saying, well, adults buy other adults drinks all the time. No, she's only buying what she's seen drinking, the vodka soda, and the first 2 drinks she's handed, and then everything subsequent to that, she's pouring in her own glass and drinking. It's safe to say that every single one of those drinks was for her. She came in there alone. She's not with her friends. They don't mention anybody else drinking vodka sodas. The victim isn't drinking vodka sodas. The only person that she's there for, presumably. And she, at some point she just starts pouring the shots in to her own drinks. So they're her drinks, right? So at 9:57, she gets one more drink and another shot glass too. So that sounds like a double to me, and so she has 7 drinks from 8:51 to 9:57, right? In an hour. That's a lot. I know that your body can process 1 drink an hour.
And she's not a large person to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So at 10:40 p.m., the victim and the defendant are observed leaving the bar, with the defendant holding her last drink in her right hand as they exit. So she's on camera. Remember, she's too classy to do that. She would never do that. She denies doing that. She's now on camera leaving this first bar, CF McCarthy's, with a drink in her right hand. Okay. So now they go to Waterfall and they get the interior and exterior surveillance camera footage for that one. All right. So they see them enter the bar at 10:54 p.m. The defendant was observed grabbing the drink she walked into the Waterfall with it in her right hand. So she's seen now on camera bringing it to the next bar. She has it. So I guess Aiden called her white trash and she lied to the police. I don't know. Only white trash would do that. All right. So she's on camera at this establishment drinking 2 additional drinks, a shot and a mixed drink. And so she's had 9 drinks between the 2 establishments. At 12:10 a.m., they leave. Right. And they see So she walks out with 2 females. Moments later, they see the victim on camera standing alone at the table. He takes a sip from a short cocktail glass and then walks out the front door holding the glass in his right hand. This is later found at the scene of the accident, the crime, next to his body, shattered. So it's his. He's on camera with it. And that, again, is pretty indicative that he never made it into that house, because he's found with the cocktail glass that he's last seen leaving the bar with. Doesn't help the theory that he got into that house. All right. This is just how they track her movements in the Lexus. Again, you can read this at your leisure. We've been going for like an hour just on this. We're on page 17. All right. They ping her movements not only with security cam footage, but with they get a search warrant for her cell phone records, which they have to do with all cell phone records, just to be clear. So that's not necessarily for or against her, but they ping her phone and they track her movements. Okay. And this is sad too. And this is really sad that, these kids have already had to give statements to the police. These kids are probably gonna have to testify, and these kids are being shit all over too, who lost, they've had a lot of loss, obviously, survived it, but they tell a slightly different story than what the defense and Aiden are trying to paint about the state of the relationship with the victim and defendant, because of course they're saying she loved him more than anything in the world. Aiden's actually saying she loved him more than his family did, which is outrageous and ludicrous and horrible to say. She's a girlfriend of 2 years versus the people that have known you your whole life. Fuck you. She didn't love him enough to call an Uber. Just a thought. But so I don't know if I want to go through this. It sucks. Anyway, pretty much what the kids say is they argue a lot of the time that the victim wanted the defendant to leave his house on some occasions. She refused, that he wanted to break up with her. It wasn't happening, that it was toxic. That's what they're saying, right? And another thing that the kid says, which, really doesn't look good either, is that the defendant changed her story several times while she was, first of all, she corroborates everything that Ms. Jennifer McCabe says that the defendant said on the phone to her about not remembering being there, having to be reminded that she was there, saying that she thought that she hit him. Like, this is all corroborated by this child, who, again, absolutely has no reason to lie whatsoever. So she says this, and she says that she changes her story several times. It's just sketchy. It's just sketchy. They find the voicemails and text messages, which corroborates that there's some strains in the relationship, that, the victim wants to end the relationship. They find the voicemails from the victim's phone from the defendant following the time period that they were out front of the residence, where she screams at him that she hates him. Sounds like it was a drunken argument, right? And then last of all, which also doesn't look good, on January 29th, the defendant was transported from the scene to Good Samaritan Medical Center. Psychiatric things too there. While there, blood was drawn and she needed it for her, a diagnosis and treatment. The ethanol results from said records indicate that at 9 o'clock in the morning on the 28th, 9 o'clock in the morning, she had a blood reading of 93 milligrams, which is about a 0.07 to a 0.08, which is the legal limit in Massachusetts. So she starts drinking that we know of at 9 o'clock at night, and 12 hours later, she's still at the legal limit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And again, this is a new trooper, somebody else out of the conspiracy, Nicholas Roberts, who's a forensic toxicologist from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory. And he opines that her blood alcohol content was probably around 0.13 to 0.29% at the time of the incident, which is absolutely fucking shithoused.
Fuck.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
And then decide to drive.
Yeah.
And somebody said, who would serve her 7 to 9 drinks? A bartender.
Right.
I mean, I've been to bars before in my 20s.
You don't think people get overserved? Like that
Right.
happens all the time. Like, I mean, honestly, are you saying that the bartender should have some culpability in this legally? That she hit her boyfriend and he died as a result? Yeah, they probably should. I agree with you. What do you want me to say? This is a pretty forensic case. You have the defense and Aiden running around going, the only physical evidence they have is the broken taillights and they planted it there. No, they detailed a lot of physical evidence. They have a lot of forensics, phone records and geolocation data, human hair, cocktail glasses, the placement of the body, her own statements, this is, and we can't even come up with a theory as far as the the defense at this point. They haven't even come up with a motive as to why they would beat this guy up. Now Aiden has come up with a motive. Would you guys like to hear his motive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me back up. Let me explain to you what the theory here is. So they go out for a night of clearly heavy drinking. They're they get invited to an after party at the home of a Brian Albert, who, as he stated in the police report, didn't really know either the victim or the defendant, but was the sister-in-law of the brother-in-law of Jennifer McCabe, who is a close, longtime family friend of the O'Keefes, right? So they get invited over there by Jennifer McCabe, and they don't make it into the house, according to everybody but the defense and Aiden, right? He doesn't do that. But all of a sudden now they have this theory that he actually did make it into the house, that he was beat up by the party goers there, left out in the snow to die, that Jennifer McCabe Googled how long it would take him to die. Why? I don't know. And then, they covered it up with the help of, what are we at? The Canton Police, Canton Fire EMS, the staff at the Good Samaritan Hospital in Brockton,
medical examiner.
Yeah, the medical examiner. That's everybody at the party.
The cars team.
Yep. The reconstruction, the crime lab, the toxicologist, the DA's office. I mean, that's all together, all these different offices, agencies, everybody. Probably about 150 people that would have touched this case in some way, that all have to decide to stay complicit and collude with each other to keep this secret, even after all this pressure has been applied on social media. Nobody's cracking. It's so weird. You know what I mean? Like, all these people are fine with a murder being covered up and an innocent woman being framed. I mean, just the medical examiner's office, I looked it up earlier today, employs 122 people. Even if half of those people were aware of this case and had access to this paperwork. That's 60 people right there that are willing to put their jobs, their lives, their consciences, possibly their immortal souls, depending on what they believe, all on the line just to frame this one lady. It's absurd. It's crazy. Yes, maybe Hillary Clinton did write some emails about this. I don't know. So Aiden has a theory about the motive. The defense hasn't presented one yet, not publicly. Again, this hasn't gone to trial. So I just want to share his theory, and I want you to really listen to what he says, especially at the end. All right, just listen to it.
And I think they're like, so you got a problem with my nephew here? You got a fucking problem with him right now? Yeah, I do. He's a fucking asshole. He's coming on my lawn, throwing beer cans around, and I think Colin hit him. That's what I think happened. And then I think John hit back because his fucking wrist is all black and blue. And that was something that Brian Albert, I think, could not stand for. Is who the fuck do you think you are, rookie? You're nobody in the Boston Police Department, and you're especially a nobody in Canton. And you don't get to put your hands on a fucking Albert. You don't get to tell an Albert what to do. That is my opinion. I can't back any of this up, but you're allowed to have theories. And to me, that is the theory that makes no sense.
That is the theory, his theory, that makes no sense.
But yeah, that's what he says at the end. He goes, "This is my theory that makes no sense." Like, even he admits that, I mean, this is batshit. And I'm sorry, here we go. Here we got one. And I'm skipping ahead for people that aren't apprised of this, because I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories. They say geolocation. He was inside the house. Thank you, DP. Whoa. That was a really good theory, my friend. Wow. Yeah. Like, listen. So I had somebody take their iPhone and do a jerk off motion like Aiden does in his fucking basement. And you know what? It said that they walked 30 steps. It's really reliable. Really fucking reliable. Geolocation. They have the geolocation showing him taking steps at, I think, 12:24 when his Waze search says that he arrived at the property. So that's weird. Good one, though. Thank you for that one, DP. All right, here we go. Don't forget the floor replacement guy, the guy who killed Chloe the German Shepherd, and the guy who filled in the pool. Yup. Gee. Thanks for bringing that up too. That was a really good theory. Yeah, such compelling stuff. Right. So the Alberts at some point listed their house for sale. Their kids are grown, number one, so they could have been downsizing. It could be that, some fucking crackpots started accusing them of murder and they didn't want to be bothered all the time. It could be that they couldn't afford. There's a million explanations as to why they would sell the house. Like, murder doesn't top the list, common sense wise, anyway. We won't count it out, I guess, because I mean, we'll just pretend to be as stupid as you are. But all right, like, no, I mean, come on.
Oh, hold on. The floor replacement guy, the guy who filled in the pool, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she may have said, I hit him, but this
right
here, just this flooring me.
You know what? I'm gonna get you're right. I mean, it's like, what's more compelling here? Somebody stating over and over again that they hit someone, or they replaced their basement floor.
Yeah.
Can I just take them? I need to get into the headspace that these guys are in. Hold on just a second. Let me just Aiden, you got me?
Hold on. God damn.
All right, cool. All right. We're all coked up now. We're ready to continue. Okay. So the guy who killed Chloe, the German Shepherd, I don't actually know. Like, is there proof that the dog's dead? There's no proof that the dog's dead. In fact, I believe that they're gonna get the animal control records. So I mean, there's about as much proof that they did kill the dog as they didn't at this point. But we'll just go with that. The guy who filled in the pool. This is amazing. This is like so. So Aiden looks up property records and he realizes that Brian Albert, guys, in 2010, 13 years ago, he owned another house. Did you know that?
No.
Whoa.
Get
Yeah,
the fuck out of here.
They own real estate. Yep.
Get the fuck out of
moved.
here.
They moved from one house to another. Can you fucking believe that?
I can't.
Suspicious as shit. People moving.
People sound
Never
like they got hush money, is what it
That's
sounds
powerfully suspect.
13 years before this happened. They're psychic like Karen Reed, who knew that the
Oh,
guy
so
was
that's-
dead before they found the body. Yeah.
That's
so
super premeditated. That's
so
like
13 years premeditated.
Yeah.
Yep.
a
So
lot of premeditated.
they had a house and they gifted it to his brother.
yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I know. It's like if
People don't do things like that.
what's more likely, that he loves and cares about his immediate family, or that he's a fucking
No.
murderer? Right?
Let me stop you right there. No.
Mm.
Yeah. I don't know. So he gifts it to his brother. So they move. Now, 13 years later, they execute their murder plot
Mm-hmm.
because it's best served cold. So yeah.
Like in a blizzard. And then Wales says they buried all the evidence in the pool during a blizzard snowstorm because everybody in the Northeast knows that if you're going to get work done on your fucking pool, it's going to be during a whiteout blizzard.
Right.
Now,
Right.
now you're fucking.
Well, this is what. So a few months ago, in October, I believe it was. So months after this incident, at a completely unrelated property down that had nothing to do with any of this, no one has been found deceased there. They decide to fill in the pool. So they believe, this is what Aiden's pushing anyway. He takes pictures of it. Look, they're filling in the pool. They're doing that to hide evidence, obviously.
Right.
Clearly.
Yeah.
That why else?
Because
Would
you know
you fill
what?
in the
If
pool?
you go over and haul in a bunch of fucking flooring and a dead dog in a pool and fill, like, your neighbors will not notice you bringing that shit in there at all. It's not weird.
Mm-mm.
There's no telling what we'll find in there.
Or maybe all the neighbors are involved in conspiracy too. So they did see them throw a dead dog in there, but they're just not saying anything.
Yeah, they're like, that's cool. We got your back.
Yeah.
So does the police and the firefighters
And the hospital.
and the hospital.
Right.
Yeah.
Jimmy
the cars
Hoffa's in that
guy.
fucking pool.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hoffa might be in the pool. So this is
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous, right? This is
Yeah.
literally
No,
what Aiden said,
makes
though.
perfect sense.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, and it was because of the beer cans too, right? So he puts the blame on the teenage boy for slugging this guy,
Right.
and
right.
and then the older Albert can't let that slide. So this is all over hubris from a powerful family protecting their own because of beer cans on a lawn. And that's more probable than what we read, where the lady says, I hit him. I hit him. She has laser hawk vision. She can see straight through snow. White
It's way
conditions from
deeper
moving
than that.
vehicles. Yeah.
It's way deeper than that.
Yeah,
Like,
clearly.
you don't even know. We haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And I know we're laughing at this, but at the same time, like, this is not funny. Let's just be clear.
No,
I know
it's
for a
not.
fact
It's
that
not funny.
the people that Aiden is openly accusing of murder, because yes, the defense has brought this theory up. Okay, they're allowed to do that. It's reasonable doubt. I personally think, like, my take on this is that it sounds like it was a tragic fucking accident fueled by emotions and alcohol, which, like, I think is relatable to a lot of people. I know it's relatable to me because it could be anyone, who hasn't had too much to drink and argued with a boyfriend, who hasn't, like, these are things that are relatable. And she's white and she's attractive and she's, they're going to say, oh, she's not wealthy. They're estimating that she spent anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 on her defense. Like, she's wealthy. Like, Most people that aren't wealthy can't pull that kind of cash up. You know what I mean? Like, most people don't have assets to cover that. Even that's a privilege in and of itself. So we see this woman that doesn't look like a criminal, right? Doing something that's relatable, allegedly. Right. And people are rushing to her defense. I believe that if she was somebody else, maybe this wouldn't be happening. If she was a white trash lady like me that would just get the public defender and take accountability. But it's just shitty to me that, there's enough evidence that she hit and killed this guy that even she said it herself. Like, she admitted to it. And she is fully willing to have her defense team throw complete strangers, including an 18-year-old boy, under the bus to save her own skin and try to keep herself out of prison. And maybe it'll work. All I can really say is that, you get found not guilty, you never get found innocent, right? And this is, again, she's being championed by Aiden Carney, who in every other incident, the police report is there's no need for a trial. He'll pull someone's police report. You're just guilty. You're a criminal, right? Not with her. Or, and I'm not saying, I'm not going to call her a criminal. She hasn't been convicted yet. I'm not going to call her a murderer because I don't believe that it was murder. I believe it was an accident, but I believe that it did happen. And I believe that, I think it's a tough one. I would like to say that if I was in the same situation and I did actually hit and kill someone with my car, that I would argue that there was no intent, because there wouldn't have been, and that I would ask for leniency and the punishment that I deserve. I would like to think that I would not throw strangers or anyone under the bus to try to save my own hide. I don't know, though, because I've never faced down that much prison time.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Do the right thing.
I don't think she's doing the right thing, and it's hurting the family.
I mean, she should have just owned it.
Right. Yeah, I just,
that's a sad thing. And you have a mother who is living through the worst fucking thing that a mother could ever live through.
Yeah.
Seeing her kid die before her. Like, I can't think of anything worse. Honestly.
No, and these conspiracy theories are just fucking damaging. Some of them are ridiculous. Here's another one that I like. Hold on. First we have to get ready for this theory because it's pretty good.
Hold on. God damn.
Right. So now that we're coked up again.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So
We're thoroughly coked up now.
ready?
Usually.
Yeah.
This party at Brian
Bing
Albert's
bong.
house. You ready?
Fuck you, life.
Put your hat in. All right. This party at Brian Albert's house, there was a woman there. Her first name was Sarah. Okay. But her name was Sarah spelled Sarah.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Trooper
Go on.
Michael Proctor spelled her name Sarah.
No.
Reasonable doubt right there.
Why did he do that? Obviously, it's so that people like Aiden and the retards on Reddit couldn't look her up and see that she was a nurse, right? It's not like when the police interview they get your identification and contact information and know exactly who you are, and that the defense and the prosecution will both have access to that information in case they need to subpoena the person, right? No. It's not about court. It's a conspiracy theory because they knew that Aiden would be on the case. Fucking, Scruff McGruff, the crime dog that he is. And they knew that if they tried to obfuscate her name, he would have a harder time finding out that she's a nurse. Yeah, what do you think about that? I'll tell you what I think about that. That never gets old. I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it is. This guy's just such a fucking crackpot. Such a crackpot. So the t-shirts. Should we talk about the t-shirts?
Oh, Jesus, dude. Yeah, the t-shirts are brutal.
It's pretty bad.
They are brutal. That's another level.
All right. So At some point, because Aiden is milking the shit out of this, coming up with as many wild theories as he can to keep people's attention and, you know, impact the maximum amount of damage on these innocent people's lives, he decides that he's going to sell fucking t-shirts. So here we go. I'm not even going to show the t-shirts, honestly, because he's got his smooth brain turtle riders wearing them, and I don't feel comfortable posting strangers' pictures at this hour of the night. It's weird. But so he has posted pictures that are very accusatory towards Jennifer McCabe, who he is pretty much, he's really gone after her because, you know, she's female. And, you know, he's definitely working through some unresolved feelings from high school with these people because he seems to think that they're like the cool jocks who can't be trusted and they're awful people, which sounds a lot like a disgruntled teenager that got bullied a lot, Aiden. Little guy, right? They have to be guilty because they were the cool kids in high school and they wouldn't sit with me at lunch. That's what I think. Get over it. But yeah, so he's selling these t-shirts attacking Jennifer McCabe. So, you know, right off the bat, he is making money exploiting a tragic death and attacking a state's witness, not the seminal witness as they keep saying that she is. She's not. There's lots of witnesses and forensic you know, evidence there, but a witness. So he's making money doing this. And then, like, to make sure that his t-shirt sales are at the maximum, he is encouraging people to show up to the court dates, you know, going on with this case wearing the t-shirts because, you know, if you can make money off of idiots and possibly influence a jury at the same time, that's a win-win, right? Yeah. DP, what is against protocol? Hold on, DP. Like, let me get ready for this. But please tell me what's against protocol. I'm all ears.
Hold on. God damn.
I am vicariously cranked right now. All right. Hit me with it. Hit me with it. What is against pro? What is? What's against protocol?
That's against protocol.
Right, exactly. These conspiracy nuts make everything worse. They're wrong. They're hurting people. Yeah. And thank you. This is exactly like an 8. That's the first thing I said. It's like, this is like a chilly conspiracy, right? Like, oh my God, huge police corruption. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen ever, but no, really, DP, please give me your conspiracy theory. I want all your conspiracy theories. Actually, guys, like, I would appreciate it if you would just email me why I'm wrong to info@massholereport.com. I would love to hear it. I could do series on your conspiracy theories forever. I would enjoy it very much. Like, I'm actually
let's
very
not limit ourselves to just this.
Hearing
we want to hear them all.
It's just some of the, I mean, what really sent me over the edge, if I'm being completely honest, is the attacking the family, you know, because this is fucked up. Aiden decides that he's going to message the Facebook profile of the victim. So a deceased man, to demand to know who's running it, because apparently some photographs of the defendant and the victim together were being taken down. Don't know why the family would want to do that, right? Like, I think it's fucking obvious, but he has to know because, you know, Karen Reed is an angel. She is as pure as the freshly fallen snow. Okay, she doesn't do anything wrong. So Aiden has to white knight for her. So he asks. It ends up being the victim's brother. So he spends an undisclosed amount of time telling the brother that they are talking off the record, which obviously they're not, because later Aiden shares the whole conversation, and browbeating him into believing his crazy conspiracy theories. And the brother says, no, you don't understand. Like, I know more than you know. I was there. You know, why did she look like she was trying to cover her tracks? She made statements to us that didn't make any sense, right? She told us at one point that we were never going to see her again. She seemed guilty to us, right? You know, we're looking for justice. We believe the right person has been charged because we know more than you do. And Aiden browbeats him and browbeats him and browbeats him. And finally, he's not getting the reaction that he wants from the brother. So this conversation taking place between Aiden and deceased police officer's brother on the deceased police officer's Facebook account gets posted everywhere. It's not really in confidence. He tries to twist the brother's words because the brother says he doesn't believe that she intentionally killed him, that it was an accident. That's what he believes, which I can understand. I would agree at this point from what I know anyway. He tries to twist that into saying that he doesn't believe that she's a murderer. He says that he's glad if the FBI is involved because he wants a thorough investigation. Aiden tries to twist that into, somehow the brother believes that Karen Reed is innocent, which he does not. And to make matters worse, he calls him stupid. He says that the family of this officer didn't love the deceased, that they are manipulated and by evil people, and that the only person that cares about this man is Aiden. The guy who's exploiting his death and selling T-shirts is the only one who cares about him. That's what he says. And then he decides to pull up the officer's criminal record, a charge that a lot of people have had, maybe a charge that was involved with this incident from years ago. So it's not pertinent to anything. And he holds it against this grieving man who's lost his brother. That's what he does. Great guy. Sorry. Sounded like you had something to say, Boomer.
Oh no, just wonder if you heard about the thermite paint.
Yeah. No. Ask your questions, but a lot of them you could answer for yourself if you read everything that was being filed, not just the defense, And honestly, I am saying that you're probably wrong. And regardless of whether you're right or wrong, this isn't for you to decide. It's for a court to decide. And all this speculating and all these horrible things are hurting real people. Why do you want to hurt real people?
That's the gnarly side of the whole thing, right? Like, I might have my theories just reading the charging document, what I think of the case, but there's no inkling to weaponize it against anybody involved in the case, let alone their families, or, a drive to print T-shirts, to brigade an idea to maybe, I don't know, influence the case, or possibly even possibly. I mean, that's just not an instinct I would have. That's weird.
Right.
And yeah, it's destructive. There's a lot of grieving family right now that don't need to be called all sorts of horrible shit for clicks and views. It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
Who has some
people's
input
pain
of
and
this?
suffering.
Yeah.
Does Chuck Stegel really want to come up?
I think he does.
I would assume so.
I'm sure he's got a lot to say, Emma.
I can't send him a link right now. Hold on.
It's the Cialis snorting for me. Chuck, we need to get your input. There's only one person who's going to come. Bottom line, the truth of this situation, and it is Chuck.
This is Chuck. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell us about the conspiracy theories.
Coming all the way up from the Baja.
From the Baja.
Oh, good. Yeah. So this is another one. The only part that's weird is the puncture wounds that resemble dog bites on O'Keefe's arm in the autopsy photo. Okay. So that is a theory that has been brought up by the defense. So, I mean, nowhere else, the medical examiner and the emergency room doctor, both decided that those looked more like they were, abrasions from a blunt object, such as perhaps a car bumper. They didn't specify, so I'm speculating. I'm going to show you something though. We looked this up too. So here we go. This is, I'm actually going to just share the whole Google search. Hey, Chuck. All right.
Well, hello there.
What's up, Chuck?
What's up? All right. So I'm just showing this here, Chuck.
We
So
need
they,
to-
and I'm not going to show the autopsy photos or anything like that. I know that they've been put everywhere. I don't feel comfortable with it. It's a shitty thing to do. But here are some photos of some, so right here, this is the That's the bite impression of a German Shepherd you'll see right here. No, go back. That didn't work. All right.
I love German Shepherds. Those are my
Good.
favorite.
They're wonderful dogs, Chuck.
They're
You're
good.
right.
They're great dogs. All right, so you can see the bite impression over there. That's you know, these are
Goddamn.
actual. These are
Ew.
actual.
Ooh.
Right. These are puncture wounds. There's bruising around. This is not what this man's arm looked
Right,
like. You know.
right.
You know. Again,
It looks all
bite
mold
marks.
and everything, man.
They describe, just we don't have to show pictures, just go by the report, abrasions that went from his bicep to his forearm. Okay, that's not what German Shepherd bites look like. Okay, it does not, and that's
Ooh,
probably
no.
enough.
Then what,
That's
okay,
probably enough of
okay,
that. That's
Okay,
gory.
then what is that? Then what is that then?
Well, I'm not a doctor, Chuck. I just occasionally.
Then it must be a smaller dog. Then if it's
Chuck, you need to interpret it for us. Like we're here.
You know what,
we want
Chuck?
answers.
Honestly, I feel like
scared.
It has
people
to be
will
a small-
listen
it
to
has-
Aiden's theories, so they'll probably listen to yours too.
It has to be a smaller breed than if it's not a German Shepherd.
Exactly.
So hold on, I'm thinking. So it has to be like a.
No, hold on, just a minute.
Don't tell me.
No,
Don't tell me it's a Chihuahua. I don't know.
it's not a dog at all. I'm going to tell you right now that the only people that are saying it's a dog is the defense. Sorry. Okay, so that's fine. We're not going to kick you. We're not going to kick you and VCAP Uranus. We might mock you, but we're not going to kick you. But yeah,
No.
it's not an animal, Chuck.
Okay, all right.
It's not an animal, Chuck. It's
Not
not a
an animal.
dog. It's
No,
not a dog. or a
Prosecutor
parakeet.
Lally did not attribute the cuts to a cocktail glass. He never did that. The defense stepped up and confused people by going, "Oh, now he's saying he was slashed with a cocktail glass." No. If you read the filing and
There
what
we
he
go.
listened to
I
what he
had to
said
adjust
in
my
court.
volume.
Cool. If you listen to what he said in court, right? Like, no, he did not say it was a cocktail glass. He said that it was abrasions from a blunt object. That has been consistent. It's in grand jury testimony. He's put it in filings. He said it. It's the defense that countered that with, "Oh, you think it's a cocktail glass?" Like, don't get confused. That's all. Again, like sometimes the simplest one, and I'm with everybody on one thing. I don't see murder here. I just don't. I think they're going to have a hard time proving that. But I absolutely think that it's easier to convict Karen Reed at this juncture of murder than it would Brian Albert or Jennifer McCabe or Michael Proctor. And I've seen some of the. You know what else they did? Hold on. You know what else they did? They went after Trooper Michael Proctor's wife to the point to where her company had to take down their social media. She was getting nonstop phone calls and texts, threats, insults, nightmare at work for her because Aiden instructed people to do that. He put out the phone number and the social media and said, "Have at it." What did she do? She's married to a cop that investigated a murder and put a pretty thorough report together. This is madness. Your mob justice is no good. If we're doing mob justice, like, you know, we're all going to burn.
I'm thinking that probably a baseball modified with nails might have done the damage.
Make it make sense, Chuck.
Chuck,
make it make sense.
Chuck, you should
math
honestly.
Chuck.
This is what I think, Chuck. I think that you and you and Turtleboy could get together just once, and maybe you guys could come up with theories together, you know, because he's probably gonna get sued for all this anyway. So like, why not? Fuck it, you know. Maybe you'll get a discount on the attorney. You know, just a thought.
Wow.
Right? I'm just saying, you could do it. You could do it. Oh man, doxing is bullshit. No, it's in full force here. Like, you know, he threatened to go to Jennifer McCabe's house. He's standing outside the courtroom like, "I'm going to Jennifer McCabe's house next." Why? For what? Like, this is crazy. Again, all of you conspiracy theorists, would you convict Brian Albert on the same evidence, you know, that's been put out in public, or Karen Reed? Or, you know, if you say neither of them, fine. That's what reasonable doubt is. The defense doesn't have to have somebody else prosecuted to create reasonable doubt, but you motherfuckers are sure prosecuting these people on the internet, like, you know, straight to sentencing, no real trial even. making their lives miserable.
You
How
think?
many witness names were apparently intentionally misspelled? I mean, that shit happens. Like, my name's misspelled all the time.
Oh my God, really? How thought of a report did how do you know they were intentional? Hold on, guys, come on. All right, come on. Intentionally misspelled. Any spelling errors that are pointed out are common spelling errors that you'd make with common names. Again, if you give a police statement, like you ever seen a witness statement form, you're putting down your driver's license number, your social security number, you know, they have your phone number, your address, like you're not anonymous. What do you like? What good would making minor spelling errors on these people's names do for a conspiracy or a cover up? What are you like? You're not hiding anything. The court, the prosecutor, the defense, everybody is going to be able to find out exactly who these people are. Just because it might make it a little bit more difficult. I mean, obviously, it didn't even make it difficult for the general public to find out who they are because retard fucking Aiden did. Right? Okay. Like he figured out who they were. What a sloppy cover up that would be. Like it's not a cover up at all. They're not writing police reports thinking like, I hope some weird middle-aged unemployed blogger doesn't get my report and find out who these people are. Like that's not what they're thinking at all. It has absolutely no bearing on the prosecution whatsoever. So, I mean, why would you think that that would be intentional or material or mean anything? Like what's the maybe he's just not that good of a speller. Right. Intentionally misspelled. Is that like an intentional accident? I feel like there's lots of lots of intentional accidents here, Javers. Oh my God, this person keeps going. Why has the prosecution withheld discovery material from the defense since February 2nd? They haven't. They explained that very well in court. There were some materials that they were asking for that were not done at the lab. It doesn't seem bad faith to me. No reason not to believe that. They were pushing to have the hair DNA analyzed, if you recall. Right. It was the prosecution doing that, not the defense. The defense was the reason why that hair hasn't been tested yet. That's weird. As far as the rest of the stuff, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but I understand some basics here. As far as discovery goes, the prosecution has all of their evidence, right? And whatever they have in hand, you know, by right, pretty much by statute, they have to give up to the defense. So whatever they have in their possession, they can't say, no, we have it, but you can't have it. They haven't done that here. What's being contested here is stuff that the defense doesn't have, but I'm sorry, the prosecution doesn't have, but the defense is saying you need to go get for us. Now, if the prosecution has something, they have to give it over. They do not, however, have to act as errand boys or investigators for the defense. They don't have to do that. And if you really want to go into the discovery issues, up until recently, every single request that the defense has made, with very few exceptions, right, has been denied by the court, who has said kind of looks like a fishing expedition to me, right? So the court doesn't think that there's a bunch of bombshell stuff. I mean, at this point, the defense has had, requests for discovery denied. I haven't seen the prosecution be warned or sanctioned once for withholding any evidence. They're just not. They don't have to be errand boys. They just have to give you what they got, right? And they are. I would think that, your question, well, why had the prosecution withheld discovery, would apply also to the defense. Why hasn't the defense gotten their expert together and signed off to get that hair DNA tested? Right. And we don't have all the evidence that the prosecution has yet. They have a very lengthy discovery list. They are bound by ethics as to what they can say in the media and in public, right? But obviously, the defense is not. So you're only hearing one side of the story. And if we're able to poke this many holes in it, like, without knowing everything the prosecution has, it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. Right.
Sorry, were you chiming in there, Chuck?
I muted him because he was vaping. Hold on.
I think he's
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know I was muted there. I'm sorry. I said I was reading the comments and they're freaking cringe right now.
Tell us what's bothering you.
What's happening? What's happening, Chuck?
Like
What?
this,
That we're brother and
like-
sister, and everybody
No.
knows the truth now.
Mhm.
like this one, this thick where's thick Charcy wants to say, hold on, you guys are pretending her shark teeth don't bother your eyes. What kind of comment is that?
Oh, it's a Turtleboy comment.
Is that really Turtleboy?
Chuck,
No,
are you
no,
still
it's
a
one of his
vampire?
people. One of his people.
Oh,
People want to know if you're still a vampire.
Yeah, how would the vampire community handle this situation right now?
honestly, I have no idea.
Can you get with the delegates and let us know?
Maybe.
I would hope there'd be a lot of swooping downward, like in the Lost Boys.
Right.
Caw, caw. Wait, bats don't caw. Sorry.
Chuck, we need answers. I'm not feeling any better about this situation. Stop reading the comments and really dig down deep and
Okay.
get down to the nitty gritty.
All right. Let's see here. I don't know what else could explain those bites on that leg, though.
The explanation was there was no bites
Yeah.
on the leg.
Yeah.
Well, they were
On the arm.
definitely. Well, they were definitely. Okay, arm. Okay. Well, they were definitely puncture marks. I know that for damn sure.
There we go.
Wait, what? No, not the ones that I was showing, Chuck. I'm not showing the autopsy photos.
Well, they
Yeah.
were. Well, it was either an animal or an insect or maybe.
No,
it was
Chuck.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, what else could have caused it?
The possum.
Chuck doesn't know what we're talking about.
Okay,
So-
okay, was it?
Chuck.
Was it an inanimate object that had
Chuck,
spikes
you-
on
you-
it that might have
Chuck,
caused the damage?
no, Chuck, you haven't seen the picture.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Well, show it up then.
No,
We're
I'm
not
I'm
gonna
gonna
show the picture,
autopsy
yeah.
photos. Like you can find them online. That's fine. Like I'm not trying to hide them.
Yeah.
Per se, it's just like the family has been very clear and like that upsets them. So like it's
Okay,
already
all right.
been viewed. I've got
Don't bother.
I've got 1,050 people in here right now. Like we don't need more, and some of them already seen them. Great, but like we don't need to spread it around more. Like that's the worst part about this. Is like this is an actual human being with an actual
Yeah.
family and actual friends who is actually deceased. And it's being exploited in the worst way possible. It really is.
Yeah, like I said, don't bother if it's that sensitive. Don't bother with it.
Yeah.
Let bygones be bygones.
No, they're not. They're not in my Discord. Actually, we don't have autopsy photos, and we shouldn't have autopsy photos. That would go
No.
against our gore policy. So
Just
Yeah.
leave it. Just leave it where it is. Don't even mess with it.
right, he thinks the ones I showed. No, what I was showing is for people who have already seen the autopsy photos. That anything that we could find relating to German Shepherd bites does not look like the injuries there. Yeah.
I'll admit it does look pretty bad.
Yeah. What have we
Getting
going for?
hit by a
2
car
hours.
isn't
We've been
good.
going 2 fucking hours.
I think the only way,
Alright.
Chuck, to get to the bottom of this, like the puncture wounds, is if I bite the shit out of Kate.
Okay,
So be it.
It's the only way.
if that's what's going to justify it,
Try
so
to
be
it.
it.
And it has
Right.
to be this.
I agree, Dante. Nobody needs to see them except for the people on the jury and the judge and the defense, the prosecution. Like that's, I mean, like it's just so gross. It's like
Just don't get any crazy ideas about it though.
right. You
Since we're-
oh, look at this dumb bitch. Look at this dumb bitch.
Who?
Whoa, look at
Who?
I recreated this and hit my husband in our Lexus 5 miles an hour and he's not dead. How do you know how fast she was going when she was backing up? Do you know? Hold on. Let me do the math real quick. There's a calculator for this. Car crash impact calculator.
I don't know what to think right now.
I'm going to tell you, Chuck. Hold on. Well, not what to think, but so let's see. My car is going 5 miles an hour. I hit my boyfriend. He was around 6 feet. I'm going to put
very slow speed.
I'm going to put him at 200 pounds. Well, we don't know what speed he was going. People keep saying that. Like you weren't there. You don't know, but I'm going to put him at 200 pounds, 6 foot. That's fair, right? Boomer, 6 foot man at 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. So at 5 miles an hour on a 200-pound man, the average impact force is 1274 lbf. The stopping time is 36 milliseconds. So he's getting force for 36 seconds before it stops. 36 fucking milliseconds. I'm sorry, milliseconds. The deceleration 6.4 Gs. It feels like being pressed with a mass of 1,273 pounds. Right.
We recreated it with your husband.
Right.
So you were like, listen, what are you doing after work? I'm going to roll over you with my car. And he was like, bet.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, he died of hypothermia. So he was out there for a while. But it's cool that you and your husband do things like hit each other with cars. I have toxic relationships all the time. So I'm not going to judge you for that. Like, do you, I guess?
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of toxic relationships, and they all ended in tragedy.
Your wife ever hit you with a car at 5 miles an hour to test out whether a white lady killed her boyfriend or not?
No.
Well, are you really?
I've never been married.
Right.
So I can't really have the say in the matter there.
Can I run over other people for scientific purposes? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're married
Good
to
idea.
fashion, Chuck.
You know what you can,
You're married to the fucking game, Chuck.
Chuck, I'm going to show
right.
you a video, and I want you to tell me what's going on in this video.
Gayan, what the hell are you talking about?
Chuck, I need your full attention.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Watch
I'm going to show you
the
this video. Tell me what's happening in it.
Watch it right now.
Okay.
Hold on. God damn.
Right?
That was a what the fuck moment right there.
What do you think's going on? Let's just
Yeah.
let's
I saw the guy was just obviously he was turning around and taking or I don't know if he was like smelling something or I don't know, but it was looking over his shoulder and looking to see what the fuck was behind him.
You think he farted in his hand and sniffed it? Is that what you're thinking he did?
I don't know really.
Do you think he was doing like maybe cocaine or Adderall?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Do you think he was blowing his nose?
I think he was ripping toots.
I don't know.
Make a conspiracy theory about it, guys. I don't know.
He was starting a line of cremated remains.
That's a very
Possibly.
vampire thing to do, isn't it?
Possibly. But that's just my, hypothesis.
Doing
there.
average.
Your hypothesis.
hypothesis. That's how,
Hypothesis.
that's how we say it here in America. You guys say it hypothesis up in Canada.
Hypothesis.
Man,
Yeah,
I just I like
you and your
it's been-
Canadian dialect.
yeah.
The hypothesis of many a species.
Look at this. Brace yourselves for mind-bending revelations, guys and gals. It's happening. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like, I believe that there's a massive murder conspiracy. That's like, come on. Like, why do you want this to be so bad? Who killed the German Shepherd? Is the like? Where's the evidence that the German Shepherd is dead? You guys are just jumping over yourselves with this bullshit. Like, you don't know for sure. In fact, right now, the only court filing that indicates that the German Shepherd may be dead is again from the defense, and they are like, we don't know. That's why we need the animal control records, which they're going to get. I'm not a betting woman, but I got 5 on it. The dog's probably not dead. Right. I don't know. I'll tell you what's going to be mind-bending is the fucking civil suit with this. This is some Alex Jones shit. He is torturing the family of a fallen officer. He is accusing random people of murder with no solid evidence. Like, this is going to be incredible. Let me tell you about another lawsuit that's going on right now. Julia Meha, I think is how you say your name. Okay, so Aiden pulled another one of these police corruption stories relatively recently about a city councilor. Her name is Julia Meha, and she allegedly, according to Aiden, had a traffic stop, right? She was drunk driving at the time, and they found a crack pipe in her car, and he says that a rogue officer covered it up, right? Okay, so she says, no, that never happened. I've actually never been pulled over by, I think it was the Boston police in my life. Nope. Not true. So she sues him. Okay. Now, Aiden admittedly never got a police report on this, claimed there was body cam footage, never got the body cam footage, and claims that unnamed sources in the Boston police confirmed that this happened, but he won't name them. Okay. So the 2 people that he does name as his sources here, a woman by the name of Shanna Catone. She's suspended, might be fired by now, not a cop anymore. So Shanna Catone gets deposed. She gets asked about this. Shanna Catone says, I told him it was just a rumor. I could never prove it. He knew that. I had absolutely no evidence. I said it was a rumor that I heard, and he ran with it anyway. Now, the other person that he names is a publication named Live Boston, run by a guy named Cam. So I personally talked to Cam about this very briefly, and he said, I told him it was just a rumor. I couldn't substantiate it with my police sources, and I could never get a police record. I tried to get one. There's no record of it. Nobody ever said that this was true. And I told him that it was just a rumor, and he ran with it anyway. Okay? Right? I don't know how that civil case is going to go. I know that with my Boston, I got that statement in text, and I gave it to Julia's attorney once I got it, right? Because if I had that information, why would I hold on to it? I wouldn't, right? So I know that. But this isn't a guy that really cares about the truth at all. He doesn't care who he hurts when he does it, right? Doesn't care about that woman. Surely doesn't care about the victim's family or the victim's friends that he's accusing of murder or these people that barely knew him. He doesn't care. But if this is where you're getting all your information from, like, I'm sorry for you. I really am. Think for yourself, please. Use a little bit of common sense. The guy's not honest. It's 11:18. We've been going for 2 hours. Got anything else to say, guys, before we wrap it?
I think you should close this out. Give us, since Jerry Springer is no longer with us, I think you need to give us closing words.
Chuck, can you give us some final thoughts on accusing people of murder without evidence?
Honestly, I just don't know what to say about it.
There's
Although I am having some suspicions of it, though.
Okay. You can't do it, True? Gina, come on. No.
Thanks.
Nope.
Uh,
All right.
Give us some closing words.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace, Jerry Springer.
This is something I've been sitting on since the beginning. This prison has been in the chat, and I've just been thinking deeply about it.
Kate, you have really nice teeth.
Oh.
I don't.
Just gonna, we got.
That was a good closing.
That was great. It's about.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm being honest, okay? I'm being honest.
All right, Jack.
I mean, really, what more can I say after that?
I know that came out of the blue, but there you go.
All right. Well, my final thoughts, guys. Oh, I got to read super chats too. My bad. First and foremost, please, as you go out, start your week, do not ejaculate on your household furniture. Your family might touch the coffee table or the end tables or use the bathroom sink.
Your kids might eat Fruit Loops on that coffee table.
Right.
Yeah.
So just if you could please refrain
don't do that.
from ejaculating on your household furniture, you will be all the better for it. That would be one final thought. Another thought is, you can't unring a bell once you ring it. You can't undo the damage, and sometimes we do it unintentionally. I've done a fair amount of unintentional wreckage in my life, but there's a special place in hell for people who intentionally do this kind of damage to other people, especially for self-enrichment or self-preservation for a certain point. And you get judged on social media. I do all the time.
Yeah, you
Doesn't
gotta be a
really
real
matter.
scumbag to do that.
Yeah,
you gotta be a real scumbag to do shit
You
like
might
that,
get judged in a court of law, but there's maybe a larger judgment at hand, the eternal or whatever. I don't know. Depends on what you believe in. But if you're willing to do this to other people, you might hit that at some point too. That might really fucking suck for you. Just a thought.
Can I give somebody their little piece of attention that they've been begging for this whole time?
Yes.
Our dear friend from the Chiliverse, Aaron Queen. I just want to know if Chili holds your legs up when he fucks you.
Does he?
I'm gonna say yes.
I feel like Chili Chili has doughy arms.
Comment?
About what?
Does this guy kick his heels up for Chili?
Maybe.
There you have it.
That's sweet. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, I look like I'm 80. Thanks.
Me too.
I've been moisturizing.
We're not 80.
You're right. I'm 85, but thank you.
All right, so
Chuck's
I'm older than that. I'm older than that in freaking spirit years.
I gotta kill this stream. I'm sorry. So Delete Law says, "Good evening, Kate. You're looking lovely this evening. Thank you. I fucked up my eyelashes. I'm wearing fake eyelashes, and I've also been on a bit of a weight loss journey the past month because I have been offline and trying. I am down 15 pounds." Which is good, but I went keto again, so I'll probably gain 20 back as soon as I fuck up this diet. All right.
Huh.
Yeah. Selling t-shirts to profit is horrendous behavior. Yeah, it's pretty shitty. It's not funny. Christine, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Cool. I can't believe we still have this many fucking people watching. You guys love a train wreck. This is a horrible thing to spectate.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, you're popular.
Thanks, Chuck. She's been spelling the cool Sarah the Cool way since 1982. Yeah, God forbid if they put an E in there, that would be a proof positive of a conspiracy. The conspiracy theories about Pearl Harbor being a side attack has more legs than what Aiden has been put out. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And again, they're accusing real people. Are we not going to discuss Kate looking fire tonight? I don't know about all that, but I'm trying.
Yeah,
Yeah, like you can see in my arm fat, it's gone down, which is cool. That's nice.
You look great.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna gain it back later. It's just I'm a yo-yo. And
Jesus
Sarah
shit.
says, I hope everyone
please
involved.
Please do not turn into another Eugenia Cooney. We don't need another toothpick.
I
running
can't
around.
do that because I like food and not exercising too much. I hope everyone involved sues the hell out of her. Yeah, I mean, I would assume that's coming. That's probably
Yeah,
coming.
we don't need no more toothpick women running around.
Yeah, right. Well, on that note, if you haven't joined Discord and you like things that are toxic and awful,
Way to sell it. If you, depending on how depressed you are,
right.
how much time you have.
You could join our Discord, maybe. I don't know. You could do that.
Yeah.
We're in there. Please tell me how wrong I am too. I really enjoy conspiracy theorists. Yeah. So that'd be great. Yeah.
And for those who are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Please. Yes. Chuck is our first and only and favorite Christian, conservative, MAGA loving, red blooded patriot, cross dressing vampire friend.
And also my beloved brother.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
And, Chuck, right quick before we go, we can talk about this in Discord, but we were thinking about maybe coming down to see you and doing some IRL content with some fun activities if you're down for it.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Yes, I'm wrong because every improbable situation.
Besides,
So,
honestly,
yeah,
I do need to get out of the house more. So there you go. It's a win-win.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. All right. So we'll talk about it in Discord, which is where I'll be. Did I post the link yet? Oh.
Thanks, Aaron.
There's the link to the Discord where I also might be.
Yeah, that's where we're going to go
And I
now.
also
That's
might
going to
be
be
there.
really cool. All right.
Everyone's gonna be there.
Well, for those who are watching, sayonara.
I'm actually bye Chuck. I'm actually friends with and VCap Uranus now. We're good friends. I actually like him. He's very cordial. I'm sorry that I called you an idiot. I think that your propensity to believe conspiracy theories is unrelatable, but you're nice. Let's be friends. Please. Or you can talk shit about me too. That's fine. Anyway, join the Discord or not. I'm going to bed. Night, guys.
Chuck Siegel.